Eggs are getting crazy expensive and selling out. People are scrambling, especially in California. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. Now, we've all been hit by rising prices lately, especially over the past few months. Now, fortunately, some things are getting cheaper, such as Teslas and good old bacon. That's right, now is the best time to finally get that bacon-wrapped Tesla you've always been dreaming of. Sadly, bacon and eggs isn't coming cheap. Although the rate of inflation has slowed, egg prices are soaring. In fact, eggs are experiencing the highest month-over-month inflation of any expenditure category, and the highest year-over-year rise among food prices. At this rate, it'll be cheaper to make an omelet out of Fabergé eggs. Now that all sounds bad enough, but let's look at some specific figures. As of December 2022, the U.S. Department of Agriculture reports that the price of eggs has risen up to 59% compared to last year. For a dozen grade A eggs, you'd have to spend around $4.20 compared to just $1.50 last year. That's a nationwide average, meaning this year's Easter egg hunt is going to be more aggressive than ever. And that's just the national average, so it's a lot worse in some states. So why are eggs so expensive? If you said inflation, you're only partly right. A lot of it is thanks to the spread of the highly pathogenic avian influenza that began last February. Although it rarely infects humans, it has a 90 to 100% mortality rate for more than 100 species of birds. Even the big ones. Rest in peace, old friend. In order to stop the virus from spreading, a lot of birds had to be culled all around the world, including in the U.S. So far, there have been 57 million birds culled because of the influenza virus across 47 states. That includes more than 44 million egg-laying hens, or roughly 4 to 5% of production. And yes, they're killing millions to try and save billions. This sounds like something straight out of Bird Watchmen. The ongoing avian flu is the worst U.S. bird flu outbreak in history, even worse than the outbreak 8 years ago that killed more than 50 million birds. As a result, there has been a 7.5% decrease in domestic egg supply each month since the outbreak began. And this is leaving a lot of grocery stores empty, especially after Halloween, when even more eggs were thrown at houses. To be fair, that's what they get for handing out pennies. It's gotten to the point that some stores have to limit the number of eggs purchased at a time per customer.
At Gone Straw Farms in Riverside, customers have gone crazy for eggs because they say it's hard to find them at their grocery stores.
When we went to Sam's Club, they were empty and everybody was just waiting around. Sounds silly, but it's true.
Farmers like Reese McClure say they aren't capitalizing on the big demand.
Everyone thinks your prices go up, it's so you can make a profit, it's to break even. A lot of us smaller guys especially, we're just breaking even and happy to right now.
It's gotten to the point that more people are getting backyard chickens, even in Boston. But things are especially bad in California. I'll tell you why after the break. Welcome back. Eggs are getting expensive nationwide, but they're especially pricey in California. As of this recording, the national average price of a dozen large eggs is $4.20. Yeah, egg prices are so high, they're $4.20. Sometimes reality writes the jokes for me. But in California, egg prices averaged more than $7 a dozen in the first week of this month. That's almost double the price of eggs in the beginning of December, and triple the cost from the same time last year. Depending on what kind of eggs you get, prices can reach $8, $9, or even $13. When Californians get one of those eggs with a double yolk, it's not just good luck, it's a blessing from heaven. So why are California's eggs more expensive? Well, part of it is because of California's regulations on egg production. Back in 2018, California passed Proposition 12, which took effect last year. It requires cage-free housing for all egg-laying hens raised in California, and that all eggs sold in California must come from cage-free farms regardless of origin. I should have known. The official motto of California should be, "We tried to make it better, but somehow that made it worse." The argument is that cages are inhumane for chickens, especially when you make them fight it out in the octagon. The cramped space causes psychological stress and self-inflicted injuries. Many animal advocates acknowledge that being cage-free doesn't necessarily mean cruelty-free, since some chickens still have part of their beaks burned off. But going cage-free is still seen as one step in the right direction. It's kind of like giving someone you're torturing a cookie. They'd prefer you not torture them, but at least this is something. Unless, of course, the torture was pulling out their teeth, in which case giving them a cookie is an even worse torture. Anyways, chicken advocates also argue that being cage-free will help combat environmental damage, climate change, and disease outbreaks. However, according to the USDA, the current bird flu outbreak affects all types of chicken farms regardless of size or production style. Even funny farms assume these are the chickens that lay crazy eggs. Mandating cage-free farms inevitably reduces the number of eggs produced, and this is especially a problem for the poor. Many low-income families rely on WIC, which is the federal nutrition program for women, infants, and children. In California, 1 million low-income parents, new families, and children younger than 5 rely on WIC for eggs. But California WIC guidelines state that vouchers can only be used to buy a dozen large white eggs. They can't be used for any other size, type, or color. And Easter eggs. Seriously, this year's egg hunt is going to be a bloodbath. Given that large white eggs tend to be the cheapest and sold off most quickly, WIC recipients can have a hard time finding eggs to eat, even if stores have other types of eggs available. Great, so California wants people to eat more cage-free eggs, but poor people can't afford to buy them. Sounds like California. So California has the worst of both worlds, a bird flu pandemic and regulations that reduce egg supply. And just like the bird flu, the cage-free egg mandates are spreading. Washington State, Oregon, Colorado, Nevada, Utah, Michigan, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island are aiming to transition to 100% cage-free eggs by the end of 2023 to 2026. This is good news for chickens, and probably good news for the environment, but it makes life harder for the poor. And if the U.S. faces another bird flu, it'll have even fewer eggs produced to meet demand. Before long, it'll just be cheaper to buy that bacon-wrapped Tesla. So what do you think? And if you're living in California, what's your experience with eggs? Leave your comments below. If you like this show, remember that we rely mainly on direct support from viewers like you. All it takes is as little as $1 per episode over on our crowdfunding website, Patreon. Visit patreon.com/America Uncovered for more. Click the link below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.